Hey there everybody, it's Alex here from RPG Site and you're watching the second part of our 2016 awards. This is where we get down to the very best RPGs of the year. The best RPG from an independent studio, the best small screen RPG on a handheld or mobile device, the best big screen RPG on PC or console, as well as our favourite overall all year. You'll also get to hear about perhaps the most important, your favourite RPG of the year, as voted for by thousands of you all throughout December. If you want to hear how we made our decisions, you can do so by listening to our podcast. You can find that on the website rpgsite.net. There you'll also find a text version of this if you'd rather read it than hear it. That's about it. These are some of our favourites in 2016, but it was a great year, so be sure to check out the website and the website archive for even more brilliant RPGs from this year. But that's enough talk from me. Here are the winners.
This year we award the title of Best RPG from an independent studio to Stardew Valley, a game that resulted from 4 years of hard work by just one man, while Darkest Dungeon and SteamWorld Heist both landed spots as our runners-up. Developer Eric Barron's farming RPG may look familiar to many, as it bears a striking resemblance to the original Harvest Moon. For fans of the series, that's just one reason to love it, but Stardew Valley also understands that it cannot simply ride nostalgia to success. The game still very much maintains its own identity by expanding upon the basic concepts Harvest Moon pioneered, while adding its own flair to areas where the other failed. Stardew also has its own unique and lovable cast. It ventures outside of tired tropes its predecessor relied upon and adds more than just a surface layer to those characters. Barron carefully crafted this adventure to have a little something for everyone to enjoy, and it's because of his careful attention to detail that players of Stardew Valley won't quickly suffer from the burnout that typically comes with simulation games like it. As the game expands its reach to console gamers, we're excited to see where the developer takes it in the new year.
Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse rose to the top as our choice for Best Small Screen RPG of 2016 in a packed field of worthy nominations. Building from the foundation laid by the original Shin Megami Tensei 4, Atlus took an already solid game and thoughtfully improved upon it in most every aspect. With a stylish battle system, addicting demon fusion and collecting, believable characters, and a fantastic soundtrack, Apocalypse excels in just about every facet. It stands out from the crowd. It's clear that developers at Atlus took criticisms of the original Shin Megami Tensei 4 at heart and created a polished sequel that hits all the right notes. Apocalypse is much more than just a Band-Aid follow-up. It provides a fresh new experience with its own distinct identity. Fans of the original will certainly enjoy the callbacks, but Apocalypse is anything but anchored by its predecessor. Atlus has made some great sequels in the past, and this one may be their best yet. More than being just a great sequel, Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse is a great modern turn-based RPG and a great entry into the vast Shin Megami Tensei series.
We already know the decision to name an expansion pack as our top big screen pick of the year is going to ruffle some feathers, but we've stuck to our guns anyway. The Witcher 3 Blood and Wine is an impressive package with a depth and level of polish that rivals full-blown disc-based releases. In fact, that's part of what makes it so impressive. Blood and Wine's greatest achievement is that it tops off the Witcher series with something that feels truly different. We're used to adventuring through dark, dank places full of awful characters and creatures, and bloody, muddy streets that are populated by dangerous and untrustworthy characters. But Blood and Wine's all-new open world of Beauclair swaps that for Knights of Honor with polished armour and flowery dialogue. Rougher neighbourhoods are swapped for colourful, properly cared for vineyards. It has a different feel. The adventure offered, of course, still has plenty of monsters and bloody bandits for you to take care of, but what's impressive about Blood and Wine is how it gives us an entirely different take on the world and an alternative dive into some of the systems from one of the very best RPGs of the last decade. It's funny, it's clever, and it's just really good fun. From another company, this may well have been a full-on sequel, but what's important is this. Whatever the method of delivery, this is one of the finest RPGs of the year.
Choosing an overall RPG of 2016 was not an easy decision. Many amazing games came out this year, and trimming that list down to just a handful of titles became a journey in itself. No matter the platform, and whether you played it on the go or at home, whether it was made by a AAA studio or a niche independent developer, all sides of the video game industry shined in their own special way this year. You've seen it for yourself in these awards. When it was all said and done, we at RPG Site ultimately chose our overall RPG of 2016, Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. Refining the core strengths and rectifying the biggest flaws in the original Shin Megami Tensei 4 base game exceptionally, Apocalypse achieves what sequels dream of doing: present the perfect next step of its foundations in a natural manner. From its intuitive refinements to its combat system, down to injecting a bit of persona to enhance its storytelling, Apocalypse blends every aspect of its design in a unified way. It bears the roots of the Shin Megami Tensei series with pride and finds a way to not only appeal to longtime fans of the franchise, but also presents a brand new tale in which newcomers who haven't played the base SMT4 game to jump right in and not feel completely lost. Apocalypse's characters, music, atmosphere, and gameplay all come together in such a brilliant way that only a few RPGs manage to unify seamlessly. It certainly proves that sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel to create something incredible. Shin Megami Tensei 4 for the Nintendo 3DS wins the highest award as RPG Site's overall RPG of 2016.
In many ways, perhaps the most prestigious award we give out, the Reader's Choice Award for the RPG of the Year is chosen by you. Thousands of you voted, and now we have the results. Final Fantasy XV is your Reader's Choice RPG of the Year. In second place is Trails of Cold Steel 2, and in third place is Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, and you can find a full top 10 on rpgsite.net. Final Fantasy XV is no doubt a game that is flawed and troubled. It had an infamously difficult development, and there are problems with the game in terms of pacing, cut content, a poorly executed narrative, a particularly terrible chapter, and so on. It has an air about it of a game that could have been one of the greatest RPGs ever made if it were only given a bit more time. Its problems ultimately held it back from winning big in our staff picked awards, but here's the thing, Final Fantasy XV is still an incredible game all the same. It smartly re-examines and reuses some of the best ideas and concepts from Final Fantasy's past, while at the same time experimenting with an open world, as well as various other ideas and concepts that are mostly nabbed from the best RPGs the West has released while the Final Fantasy series has been doing some soul-searching. The shadow of games like Elder Scrolls and The Witcher, both previous Reader's Choice winners, is cast on Final Fantasy XV properly, but in the best possible way. The game is better for these influences. For almost every weird disappointment in the game, there's another area where it absolutely excels, and in spite of its flaws, it's a game that many members of the RPG Site staff have played for 50 hours or more, and so we're not surprised at all that so many of you voted for it. More than anything, Final Fantasy XV feels like a great springboard into Final Fantasy's future, and that's an exciting thing indeed.